Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Andrew Petke.
And I'm Chef Naveen.
Yeah, we're with Team Mystica Masala, winners of the Great Food Truck Race on Food Network. And today we are with Rosenthal Vineyards yet again.
Round 2, I'm excited.
Today we are making in the kitchen an awesome dessert. It's gonna be a wine cake, and it features a Gruner Veltliner cake, and it's gonna be amazing. This wine is gonna be featured in the cake. And then also for the icing, we are gonna feature the Blanc de Blancs, this amazing sparkling wine right here. This is gonna be in the icing of the cake as well. So
you do such a great job incorporating these Rosenthal wines into these baked dishes. So I'm really looking forward to another fabulous dessert.
Thank you. It's dessert, it's wine. I mean, you can't go wrong, right?
And we're gonna be drinking while we're
of course, we're gonna be drinking, we're gonna be baking, and then we're gonna be tasting.
Awesome.
So, in that order. All right, let's get started.
All right.
All right, guys, here we go. We're gonna get started on this Gruner Veltliner cake. It features 2 amazing white wines from Rosenthal. So let's get started. First on the cake, you're gonna need a couple of key ingredients. Come on down here and take a look. We have a box of classic white cake mix, okay? Now you can start with your own cake base if you'd like, but this is gonna save you some time. So white cake mix. And over here we have a 1/4 cup of pressed brown sugar. Over here we have a 1/2 cup of regular white sugar. This is vanilla jello. This is instant pudding, okay? This is actually our surprise ingredient, okay? We're gonna use about half of this box, but basically what this is gonna do, this is gonna make your cake extra moist, okay? That jello, that gelatin in there is gonna secure that liquid in there. It's gonna make it nice and moist. You're gonna be able to taste that wine. Then over here we have 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. We have 4 eggs, 3/4 cup of water, 3/4 cup of vegetable oil, and then we're gonna be using a 1/2 cup of the Gruner Veltliner for the batter. All right, so in addition to the Gruner Veltliner cake batter that we just came up with, we're gonna make an awesome icing. This icing is gonna feature this Blanc de Blancs, this sparkling wine right here. It's got a little bit of bubble to it. It's gonna be amazing, but this is a simple glaze. It's gonna pour right over the cake. And what that glaze is made up of is 1 stick of butter. All right, we have about a cup of powdered sugar here. I have a full orange. We're gonna juice half of it and use the other half for our garnishment of the cake. And then this is optional. We have some walnuts right here. These walnuts are completely optional. If you have a nut allergy, don't do the walnuts, okay? But if you want walnuts, add it in. What we're gonna first do is candy some of these walnuts, and then we'll keep a couple of walnuts on the top so that way we can garnish the top of the cake and make it look beautiful. All right, so let's get to baking. All right, first things first on this Gruner Veltliner cake, we're gonna start with the batter. It's really easy to do. But before we do, let's open up this baby and have a glass.
Get the party started.
Yes. Oh my goodness, look at that. There you go. There's a glass for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Glass for me. All right, there you go.
Cheers.
All right, let's taste it. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's really crisp. It's light. It's got hints of apple in it. This is gonna be amazing inside the batter. It's gonna just add to the flavor of this cake. All right, let's get started on this batter. It's really easy to do, okay? First, we're gonna start with all of our dry ingredients so that way we don't make a mess. Okay, so here's the white cake mix that comes just in any kind of generic store-bought cake. All right, up next, we're gonna add that brown sugar. We have another 1/2 cup of regular white sugar. Up next, this is our 1/2 of a box of our vanilla Jello instant pudding. Goes right in there. And then up next is this gives a little bit of spice. This is our cinnamon, okay? We have 2 teaspoons of cinnamon in here. We're just gonna put that in the top.
That smells amazing.
Yeah, that's gonna add a little bit of that flavor to it. And if you wanted to go ultra fall, you wanna get some fall flavors in there, you could actually swap that cinnamon out with that pumpkin pie spice.
What a great idea.
Mix it out, it tastes incredible. You can bring it to Thanksgiving, everybody's gonna love it. So in here we have all of our dry ingredients. You can see that, okay? Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and put in our 4 eggs. Let's go ahead and crack those puppies in. All right, 4 eggs in. Next, we're gonna add a 3/4 cup of our water. Up next, 3/4 cup of vegetable oil. All right, and the most important part. All right, what we're gonna do is a whole 1/2 cup here, okay, of the Gruner Veltliner wine. Just 1/2 cup right there, that's gonna go in. This Gruner Veltliner is gonna bake off when we cook the cake, so you're not gonna get the alcohol in there, so it is safe for kids. But I'm gonna teach you a little secret on the glaze that'll allow you to sneak in a little bit of alcohol at the end so that way you can still have it if you choose to do so. But let's go ahead and mix this batter up. Come on, take a look down here. We're gonna incorporate these wet ingredients into these dry ingredients. Just wanna stir, not too crazy. Of course, if you have a food processor, you can do this at home, but this is not too crazy of a batter. So just get it all stirred in there, make sure everything's mixed nice and evenly. All right, guys, we have our batter ready to go right here. Look at this, got great consistency on there, okay? Make sure that's all incorporated in there. While we let that sit for just a second, what we're gonna do is go ahead and prepare our pan. Now today we are baking in a bundt pan, okay? So I have this bundt pan right here, okay? Now depending on your bundt pan, depending on the detail of your bundt pan, this can be tricky or not, okay? This bundt pan has a little detail, but it's not too crazy detailed, so hopefully this thing bakes and pops out with no issue. But I wanna teach you a little secret right now. Don't use butter, don't use Crisco. What you're gonna wanna buy, and I'm not endorsing this, but the Baker's Joy, okay? Every baker I've ever worked with recommends this stuff, and it's because it's gold. It's a combination of spray, oil, and flour all in one spray, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna wanna set this up. Sorry for that noise. Spray our pan. We wanna make sure it's evenly coated, but we don't wanna oversaturate it. We wanna make sure it's gonna be on all the parts, obviously, that the batter would come in contact with, okay? Now, if you do this with butter, you can definitely use butter, but the problem with butter is you can over butter, okay? And what will happen then is the actual cake will connect with the pan and bake on, and you don't want that. So I recommend Baker's Joy. It's gonna hopefully serve you in that long run. And you wanna let this sit in the pan for maybe about 5 minutes. It helps it set. So just set this off to the side and then we'll pour it in just a minute. Okay, now I've preheated my oven to 350 degrees. We're gonna cook this cake for about 60 minutes, okay? 60 minutes, it does cook for a long time. And depending on the size of your bundt pan, you'll wanna pay attention to it. Obviously, when you start to see it golden brown, we're also gonna give you this little technique, okay? If you have a wooden dowel or you have a little chopstick, this is gonna show us that during the baking process, we'll be able to insert this into the cake and see if the cake is completely cooked. And I'll show you that coming up next. But first, let's go ahead and get that batter into the bundt pan. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and pour this batter in, make sure it gets evenly dispersed throughout the pan, just like this. Look at that beautifulness.
That looks so rich and decadent, I love it.
And what's gonna happen is you're gonna wanna get this pan almost about 75% full. You don't want it all the way to the top. Depending on the size of your bundt pan, you'll wanna keep that in mind because this will rise as it bakes. So you do not want it to spill out muffin top over the pan, get all over the place. All right, so we got the batter in the bundt pan. It's all greased, oiled up, ready to go. It's ready to go in the oven. The oven is set to 350 degrees. I preheat it. It's ready to go. So we're gonna go ahead and put this on the lower shelf right here. And we should be able to set that for about 60 minutes at 350 degrees. All right, while that Gruner Veltliner cake is in the oven baking, we're gonna go ahead and switch over and make the Blanc de Blancs icing. It's really simple to make, it's awesome, and it's very flavorful. Now, typically if you're baking this, you'd probably wanna do this about the 50-minute mark of your baking. It only takes about 10 minutes to make this glaze, and so it'll be perfect for you if you make it right at the 50-minute mark. We're gonna go ahead and start on it so I can show you all the steps. We'll go through the ingredients real quick again for you. All right, to get started, we're gonna need a cup of powdered sugar. We're gonna need a full stick of butter, and we're gonna need a full orange. And then we're also gonna need, the most important part, this is the 1/4 cup of Blanc de Blancs. Now what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna cook this into the glaze, but at the very end, we're gonna add a dash of this back into the glaze so that way you get the full flavor of the alcohol, all that fun stuff. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this all in the saucepan. Now what I do also have here are optional walnuts, okay? So you don't have to incorporate this, it's completely up to you. I like the walnuts because it adds a crunchy texture. And we actually kind of candy the walnuts in the glaze as we cook it. So let's get started. Again, this is optional. You want to save a couple of these back so that way we have something to decorate the cake with. All right, to get started on the glaze, we're first gonna get that full stick of butter and put it on a saucepan on medium to high heat here in the back. So I'm gonna go ahead and let that start melting. You see it sliding around there? Look at that slipping and sliding. Oh yeah, that means it's melting down. So we'll let that melt back there. As that's melting, we'll go ahead and get started on this next portion, okay? What I'm gonna do is open up this Blanc de Blancs, the sparkling wine. is carbonated, obviously. It's called sparkling, so you want to be careful when you open this. Adult supervision required. All right, I like to put my thumb on the top as I untwist our little cage here. Okay, that makes sure that it doesn't pop off. And then you just work it off a little bit with a little twist. Pa! Opa!
Bam!
All right, now we know we need a 1/4 cup of this for the recipe, but what I like to do is pour us a glass first. When you pour anything that's sparkling, it's best to pour and hold the glass at 45-degree angle. That way when you pour, you don't get too much of the carbonation on top, too much of the head. There you go.
Thank you, sir.
Enjoy.
There we go, cheers.
All right, oh my gosh, this tastes amazing. This Blanc de Blancs is incredible because it's made with 100% North Coast Chardonnay grapes. It has citrus notes, it has a little bit of apple, honeydew, caramel. I love this stuff, it is really great. It's carbonated, so it's great with fish, with poultry. But today we're making it in the glaze. So what we'll do is we'll need a 1/4 cup of that. So we'll go ahead and measure out that 1/4 cup. All right. Okay, come on over here real quick. You'll see our melted butter we have here on the pan cooking down. What we're gonna do to that butter is we're gonna add our full cup. This is our powdered sugar. That's gonna go right in here on top. All right, and then to that, I've cut open half my orange here, and I'm gonna juice it. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and juice it into a strainer, okay? So just put the strainer right in there, juice it so that way it catches any seeds, any extra, you know, the meat of the orange that we don't want. And what we're just gonna do is juice that in there. This orange is gonna give it an awesome citrus flavor. It's also gonna give it a little bit of sheen whenever it dries on the cake, which is gonna be awesome. And it'll help balance out that sweetness from the sugar. All right, just like that. All right, now we'll go ahead and stir this in. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring this to the point where it starts to bubble. We have to constantly stir this. This is sugar, okay? So if we don't constantly stir, it's gonna burn. All right, so we wanna put it on medium to high heat, constantly stirring until you incorporate all the powdered sugar so you can't see it anymore. And it should get thick to almost like an agave syrup texture. And to this, the most important part, the Blanc de Blancs, okay? This right here, this is a 1/4 cup of Blanc de Blancs.
The magic sauce.
Sparkling wine. See it sparkle? There you go, you add that in there. The effervescence there is gonna make it really light, really airy. And all of those flavors from that wine play in perfectly to this glaze, so it's gonna be incredible. All right, look at those bubbles right there. Okay, that means we got it to the right temperature. You're starting to see it bubble. It's baking on, cooking in some of that sugar. You can smell the Blanc de Blancs cooking out of it. It smells incredible. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna go ahead and add in our walnuts. This is a completely optional step. We're gonna add in about 3/4 cup of walnuts. These are chopped walnuts into our glaze. And then we're gonna set aside about a half or a 1/4 cup so that way we can put on top of the cake. All right, so here we go, 3/4 cup. All right, right there. We'll go ahead and stir that in. That is going to saturate each piece of walnut. The walnut is actually gonna soak in some of that flavor. And then as it starts to cook a little longer, it's gonna start to get a little sugary on the outside. It's gonna be kind of like a candy coating. It's gonna be amazing. So what we're gonna do is, once we've added the walnuts in, continue stirring the whole time, and we'll see the bubbles start to form again. As soon as we see the bubbles form, we can turn it off the heat and move it off the stove and get ready to put it on the cake when it's ready. Oh my goodness, this smells amazing. This glaze, look at those walnuts in there. It's bubbling, it's beautiful. All right, I'm gonna move this over to no heat, okay, and let that cool for a second. Come on over to this side of the counter. I'm gonna show you how to do some awesome orange wedges that we're gonna garnish for this so it looks beautiful and gorgeous, okay? Come on over here, take a look. What I have over here is I have the other half of our orange. I've just cut into wedges like this, okay? Easy wedges. And then I have a mixture of, this is brown sugar, I have some cinnamon, and I have some, this is actually dry ground ginger, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix this all in. This is just for the topping on the cake. This is completely optional. This is gonna give it a little bit of beautiful look. You'll see the color of orange come through. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna basically mix those dry ingredients together, kind of flatten it out on the plate. And what we're gonna do is just do one side, okay? And just like that, okay? So it's covered in a little bit of everything. And then set that aside, just one side on each of these, okay? Make sure it's nice and coated. All right, guys, it's time to look at that cake. Let's go to the oven. Let's see how well it's cooked. It should be ready to go. All right. Oh, look at that. All right, that's what we're looking for. It's golden brown on the outside. Let's bring this right over here. I have a hot plate or a hot pad. I can set that on. I'm gonna show you real quick how we can test this, okay? It's still hot, but what we're gonna do is I'm gonna use a chopstick, or if you have a wooden dowel just like this, you can check it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and drop that in the middle, the deepest part. You don't wanna go all the way down, but you basically wanna be able to pull that out. Okay, if there's nothing sticking to it, that means you have a cooked throughout cake, okay? We test in one different area. All right, there's no cake sticking to this. That's a good sign. When there's no cake sticking to this, that means it's cooked throughout. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna let this bundt cake sit for about 5 minutes. Now here's the deal. Don't let it sit over 5 minutes, because if you do, it could actually rebond with the pan. So just 5 minutes, and then we're gonna flip it. All right, we're waiting for that bundt pan to kind of cool, that cake to cool down for just a second. I have our glaze over here. You can see this is set up really nice. Those walnuts are now fat. They're saturated with this sugary, amazing glaze. So you can see they're a little bit larger, but you can see it's like a syrup in there. I'm gonna add just a splash. This is maybe 1/8 of an ounce, or not 1/8 of an ounce, 1/8 of a cup. And what we're gonna do is I'm just adding a little fresh alcohol to this, okay? It is gonna thin it out quite a bit, but this is actually going to add some of that alcohol flavor back into the actual glaze itself. All right, guys, it's time to put this Gruyere Veltliner cake together. I can't wait. All right, what we're gonna do is we have the cake right over here. I'm gonna first go ahead and take off these things. We're gonna get our plate that we're gonna put our cake on and put it upside down, okay, just like that. We're gonna flip this puppy over and let's give it 2 little top. All right, let's try this real quick. Let's lift it up, hopefully. This is perfect and in place.
Wow.
Look at that. Look at that right
Amazing.
there. That came out perfectly. All right, now we're not done yet. This is the base of the cake. Look at that. It's perfectly cooked.
Beautiful.
All right, it's brown all the way around, but what's awesome is inside, you're gonna taste that wine. It's gonna be so moist because we had that Jell-O, that instant pudding mix that was kind of mixed in there too. But now let me show you how we're gonna decorate this thing, okay? So we have our amazing bundt cake here. This is gonna be our glaze, okay? This is our glaze with our walnuts cooked in, okay? And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go over the middle of this.
Oh
right
my
around
gosh.
the edges, okay? Just right around the edges. It doesn't matter if it gets a little messy. This flavor is amazing in here, okay? All right, perfect. All right, right around the edge like that. Now what we're gonna do is I had these seasoned oranges from earlier. Of course, this has cinnamon, brown sugar, a little ground ginger in there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna place these around. Look at this, it's gonna be pretty. It's gonna be Instagram worthy, okay?
Wow.
Hashtag Rosenthal wine. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of decorate these out. Set them out here to the side. Look how pretty that looks already, okay? Then on top of that, what I'm gonna do is I have some powdered sugar over here. I'm just gonna go like this. Pum, 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 pum. It's like snowing, it's Christmas.
It's perfect for fall.
It's fall, it's spring. You can do this anytime. If you wanna do it in spring, you can do some raspberries, some blueberries, some strawberries on it, you know, sands of orange. And then I have that little mixture here. I'm just gonna get a little bit of the spice and just do it on the top there, okay? So that's that ginger, the cinnamon, the sugar, right there on top. And then final, this is our raw walnuts, okay? So we already have our candied walnuts on here. We're just gonna sprinkle a couple of these.
Never can have enough walnuts.
No, and these are great because this will give it a little crunch. You'll get some difference in the walnuts. Some will be candy, some will be fresh. And there you go. This is the Gruyere Veltliner cake made with Gruyere Veltliner from the Surfrider from Rosenthal, as well as the Blanc de Blanc sparkling wine. We use this in the glaze. It's gonna taste amazing. Look at this right here. This is ready for a party right there.
Yummy. Can't wait to try it.
It's so good. All right, we are ready to serve this thing. Look how beautiful it is. The glaze on top is nice and shiny. Those spiced oranges are right on top. And my favorite part is I get to take a little sip. Congratulations, we just made a cake. All right, let's serve this thing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in here and get a nice little slice of it. Boom, 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 boom. You'll notice cutting through, it is so soft and moist, okay? Okay, right in here. Oh yeah.
Yum.
Okay, we'll put this little orange right on top. Actually, we'll put it over here to the side. What I'm gonna do is powdered sugar on the top. Just like that. And we'll do just a little bit more of the glaze, just because we're serving it this way. We need as much of that wine flavor in there as possible. All right, Chef Naveen, you ready to try this?
I am. That looks amazing. I'm so impressed yet again.
Thank you. It's Grunert Veltliner.
Okay.
And hold on one second. Hold on, before you take that bite, I just want to hold this up in the background so you know exactly what you're tasting here. Give it a bite.
Okay.
Let's see. Good.
So good. Are you ready to have a bite?
Oh yeah, of course. Now it's still a little warm. What? Okay, now that was a smaller bite than what you gave yourself.
Well,
give me a larger bite. Come on now. I mean, come on, I made it. All right. Okay.
Yum.
Oh my God.
Very good. Excellent job.
Well, thank you. It is good, if I must say so myself. It's incredible because you can really still taste that wine come through, especially with the glaze.
Yeah.
Incredible. And once you try that orange that comes with it too, you're gonna get all those spices. The orange goes well with the cake. It's incredible. This with a little cinnamon ice cream, a little vanilla ice cream.
Oh, and the nuts added in gave it a nice little crunch. So you did an excellent job. Great job.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Rosenthal, and thank you all for watching. We hope you make this cake. We hope you enjoyed as much as we do, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.